Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
How we doing tonight, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back. Oilers dropping one to the Detroit Red Wings, letting a lead get away. Very well could have been a 2-point night for the group. Got a little sloppy there for a little bit. And the Detroit Red Wings, a plucky team. Todd McClellan's got those guys going well. Going to break it all down tonight on the show with Jason Strudwick, and Rob Brown's going to join us. Chris Sabunia is at the controls at Growler Media World Headquarters in Kelowna. As always, Got Your Back, presented by our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Whether it's always game time at Play Alberta. Bet on sports, find your new favorite slot, hit the tables, play on a virtual table with a live dealer, get lottery tickets, do it all safely with responsible gambling tools that help keep you safe. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB01. That is code GYB01. Visit playalberta.ca. And I'm coming at you from our mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Check them out online at adrenalinediesel.ca. Struddy, how are we doing tonight, big guy?
Good. What's up with you guys? Lots of snow on that ride home.
Yeah, I've safely got the hands-free going. Real good snowfall, but the truck's in 4x4, so shouldn't be an issue getting us home. How's the weather out in Kelowna, Zub?
It's chilly, but we got no snow on the ground here. We've had a couple of snowfalls this year, and nothing stuck around longer than a week. The kids have only had the GTs on the hill across the street here one time this year, and that's not because they're being lazy. It's because there's no snow.
Yeah, well, how about that schedule shaming I just got, Zuby? Before we were ready to come on air, I made a comment that I was feeling a little wiped today. You know, often one of either Struds or I, one of us is a little down, low energy or something. We'll politely give the other one the heads up, like, hey, I hope you're ready to bring it tonight because I'm running a little low. And then Zuby, what proceeded after that was Struds just absolutely schedule shaming me. Like when I compare my day to his, that was a bloodletting compared to who sees their day and has a right to feel tired.
It's true, and I feel bad. I didn't even chime in at all because I am in the comfort of my room here that I didn't leave all day. And Struddy did it, I think, more than us combined, and probably a couple other people in there. But I thought he downplayed it. I thought you downplayed it, Struds. But
yeah,
I like to stack
he was a good
days.
teammate. Yeah. He was like, no, I got you, buddy. And then Zuby's like, well, wait a minute. You had a long day too. Take us through your day, Struds. Like, don't be humble about it. Shame me.
It's a longer day, but I mean, it's all fun things. I help coach my son's team in the morning before school. So it's like 7:30 to 9. And then I had tennis from 11 to 1, in which I actually played pretty well. TSN Overdrive from 2 to 5, Sportsnet from 7 till 9:30, and then a podcast from 10:45 to 12:15. So fairly full day, but it's all fun. That's the thing. Everything I do is really fun.
Man.
There's nothing I don't enjoy. And my backhand was sick today. I took a couple people out with a sick backhand on the tennis court.
Really? And is your backhand your strength or your forehand? I can't remember. You've been working on one of them.
Backhand.
Tom.
No, Tom, everyone knows if they hit to my forehand, they're probably going to win. If hit to my backhand, there's a chance I might win, but also the chance I might hit the court over. So
yeah.
Not
big,
good.
So big, powerful two-hander backhand. Is that how you like
double
it?
hand. Yeah. Double hander. Yeah.
Double-handed backhand. Wow.
Yeah. Double heavy.
But you can throw your cranium into that too, right? The cranium is a bit of a counterbalance there. You throw your head out there and then pull back against it.
Well, it's the bowling ball shoulders, right? People comment on the bowling ball shoulders all the time. They just unleash the fury.
So I shouldn't do this, Struds, but I will tell you my day. If you want to compare days and the gall I have to come onto the show complaining about being tired. So, earlier morning, whatever, get up, get a Ray and Dregs. We had a taping of the Ray and Dregs hockey podcast.
Oh, yeah, I did
available
that.
on all your podcast platforms.
I did that, yeah.
Yeah, you did that too, Zuby.
Yes, I was there.
Then I quickly had to hustle down to the rink. I was at the rink for maybe 2 hours. Got home from the rink, 2-hour nap.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Turn his mic off.
And then got up, was just feeling a little groggy. I think I might be dehydrated. I think that's the problem.
Sure.
I'm just kind of fighting it tonight. So, I thought I would just maybe, get a little sympathy from my buddy and get him to pick me up because I was feeling a little groggy after the 2-hour nap today, buddy.
Just bagged. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to wake yourself up after a 2-hour nap. I'm sure it is hard. Be careful on that drive home. You're probably still sleepy.
I know. At that point, it's not even a nap. My wife says that you didn't have a nap. You went back to bed. There's a difference between having a nap and going back to bed. So, yes, I full on had to sleep. Anyways, enough shaming. People want to talk about a bunch of stuff. I'm sure people want to talk about John Klingberg. I'm sure people want to talk about what happened tonight. Maybe even look ahead to the Maple Leafs game. So we got lots of hockey content ahead, Struds, and let's get her rocking and rolling with our breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers.
The 4x4 winter event is here. And man, it's a perfect night for that with all the snow out there. Get up to 11,200 in total discounts on 2024 Ram 1500 DT Bighorn at your Alberta Ram dealer. See your Ram dealer today or tonight if possible.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of talking points, we want to go Klingberg first because it's on the mind of Oiler fans, Struds, or do we want to go game? I'm going to let you decide because you're more awake than I am.
I think it's hot topic. I think it's John Klingberg. I'm not going to lie. I was in the building, and I only had eyes for him tonight. I really wanted to see where he was all about, so I think we start with the man of the hour.
Okay, let's do it. Well, you're the D-man, so I'm going to lay this one out for you and give us your observations, what you were expecting and what you saw from 36.
So two things I was watching. One was his movement on the ice, and second was his puck control and the movement what he did with the puck. I'll start with the second one. When the puck's on his stick, he makes a lot of good plays. He was zinging that puck around there was a couple cross zone passes in the offensive zone that it was on the other guy's tape before I even realized that lane was there. Like that, you don't teach that. That's practice. That's refinement. That is knowing the game and hockey IQ. Like he's zinging it all over the place. Early in the first period, he goes back to get a puck, absorbs a little bit of pressure, just taps the puck over behind the net. Ekholm picks it up, out the zone. They're gone. The centers will love that. They don't want to have to fight in their own zone for this puck. He just makes those smart little plays when the puck's on his stick. Now his movement, I thought he skated pretty well. You can watch him when you see him on the blue line. He's a guy that's constantly moving, right? He's not the guy that stands there. Not there's anything wrong with standing there. I did it for a long time, but he moves all over the ice, right? He's in, he's out, he's moving, he's looking. And what he's looking for, I think, is he's looking to create passing lanes or passing opportunities for his forwards to him. And that puts pressure on their team's forwards because they're looking around like, where the hell is this guy? So those are two really good. I thought he had a really good start for his first game, considering how long he hasn't played for, what he's coming back from. And I think maybe some of the pressure that he may or not have been feeling as the Oilers are looking to him to maybe be a fairly significant solution to maybe a hole in their lineup. What do you think?
Yeah, some great observations there, buddy. Yeah, I would concur. My overarching thought is if that's the starting point, then this is potentially headed in a really good direction. Like if that's what he looks like after not playing an NHL caliber game, for as long as he's been out, and he goes out there and can do that, I think that is an excellent starting point. I agree with everything you said. The movement looked good. The heads up plays. The one thing I liked is that, so one of the criticisms we heard out of Toronto quite a bit about him was that there wasn't a lot of jam there. It was pretty, the game was pretty feather soft. And I don't remember that necessarily about John Klingberg. I remember Klingberg for sure being skilled. but I remember him throwing the odd big hit. He got into the odd scrap. And I remember him being a gamer as well as being pretty skilled, like not, a buttery, soft style defenseman. And so I was a little surprised when I heard a lot of those reports out of Toronto and talked to some people that covered him there. So he took a hit on his second shift. He had the option to take that hit or not. He did, Struds. Like a lot of guys would have bailed out of there and maybe not done it quite like he did, but he made sure he made the play. And he got absolutely slobber knocked on his second shift behind the net. Didn't phase him, pop right back up. And I love that. I love that he felt that physical play early. I like that he leaned into it. Took a hit on his first shift as well to make a play. He did that multiple times through the night. There was another one, can't remember if it was the second or third period, took a big hit on the wall, but made a beautiful little outlet pass. So, this guy, I think if this guy's willing to engage like this, it's a really good sign. And I think, maybe some shades of the way he used to play crept in. So I liked what I saw from him in terms of just being willing to be in the game and engaged and taking hits and feeling it physically.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's playoff hockey, right? You're gonna have to take those types of hits. So I love your phrasing. It's a really good place to start. 16 minutes was. I actually thought he wasn't. I thought I had him capped at 15. So the fact that he got over 16, I think that was a good thing. He's limited because he's not power play or penalty kill, and that is always going to be a challenge for him. I don't. Well, yeah, could be okay, and that's fair right now. So now the other side, we can talk about the goal against, and I had a couple of people text me like, "What do you think about the goal against he was on for?" Okay, there's a lot going on in this play, but we'll just shrink it down to his little area. When the puck is being driven over the blue line, there's a shot, and then Rasmussen gets a stick on it. He could have used his body to make it harder for Rasmussen to drive that lane between the shooter and the net, and or tied up the D-man stick. It's his first game in a long time, and those instincts, you have to you have them, but they're not always dialed in your first game back. That's why they have preseason.
Sure.
And quite honestly, the first 41 games. So I'm going to give him a pass on that one. I'm not saying the goal was his fault, but he could have maybe helped out the situation because, it's clear Rasmussen just tapped that one down in front of Skinner.
You know what I noticed on that one, Struds, on the replay? He was actually directing traffic a little bit there. Did you notice how he kind of, it was almost like he was pointing to someone else. And I'm not sure, I couldn't get a read on exactly what he was wanting a teammate to do. If he was pointing to someone else to take the player that eventually tipped the puck in or not. But it looked to me like he was directing traffic and maybe not quite prepared for that split second, thing that happened there. So I wasn't exactly sure. There was another one. Did you notice the breakout in the first period where he had a little exchange? He had the puck, and then Ekholm came back in front of sort of at the side of the net. He handed it off to Ekholm. And then he took like 2 hard strides right up the middle of the ice, turned backwards and looked at Ekholm like that was going to be the outlet pass. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen an Oiler D-man necessarily do that before on a controlled breakout where his partner has the puck. Normally you fan out to the side to be kind of an outlet if that D-man gets any forward pressure. But did you notice that one, Struds? He only did it the one time, but I remember going, whoa, where's he going?
Wait, what's crazy? We brought this up one night on the pod, and that is the Oilers' controlled breakout because I'd never seen that before. Because they do it now on their controlled breakout. You see the guy screaming up the middle all the time. Emerson did it as well
backwards.
Tonight. Yeah.
Did you notice he was skating backwards, facing Ekholm?
Yeah, and Emerson, he did it also during the game today, and it's really unique breakout. So what I take from that is that this guy picks up things pretty quickly, like that. That is not
unlike
usual. But he just joined the team, and I don't know how long he's been here for. I'm going to call it 10 days, whatever it is. Limited number of practices. So the coaches are going through, hey, this is how we play this is how we play this, how we play this. Oh, and by the way, on this control breakout, you go up the middle. Like, what'd you say? You just skate up the middle and we'll pass it to you. Then you have to turn and pass to somebody else. So I like that. Like I made a mental, like, that's a really good pickup by him to put that into his game that quickly.
Yeah, to go ahead and just do it. Yeah. Do we have some sound from him post-game, Zuby? Did we grab?
From Klingberg, yes. And I'll tell you also, we got Brownie on the line here too.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, before we get to the sound, then let's grab some observations from Rob Brown. We were just we haven't gotten into the game yet at all, Brownie. We're just throwing some observations out on Klingberg. So give us your thoughts.
On Klingberg.
Yeah.
I thought he looked a little rusty to start with. Then as the game moved on, he seemed a little more comfortable. I mean, he's a smart hockey player. I think we know that from what we've seen in the past with him as a hockey player, that he knows what he's doing when he gets the puck. He's smart. He doesn't put himself in bad positioning. It would be tough. It's 400 days since he's played a hockey game, and all of a sudden you're throwing him in with guys that are mid-season form. And you can practice all you want, and you can skate and practice with Connor, but guys aren't pushing back. It's different when you play a real game, and tonight he played a real game, and I thought he looked more comfortable as the game moved on. I think he'll get better over the next stretch of hockey games. I think it was a nice start for John Klingberg.
Yeah. If I can, Brownie, what areas did you feel looked a little bit rusty in the early going? Because I didn't necessarily sense the same thing. I'm not sure if Struds did or not. I was actually quite impressed with the polish in his hands and such right from the get-go. But was there something specific you thought looked a little rusty?
He looked, there's the first two shifts, he looked a little wobbly. There's one against the boards, he kind of turned it over. There was one in his own end that he kind of got a little, looked confused. To me, he didn't look polished until the game moved on. I thought he looked more polished as the game was on. I thought there was a couple bumps in the first 2 or 3 shifts, and to me, you would expect it for the amount of time he's missed. And then after that, he looked fine. And it is funny. There was one shift out there where it was a face-off in the offensive zone. He went and stood in a position. He told Nurse, "No, you go over there. I'm going to be right here." It was almost like, okay, I know where I need to be. I'm going to tell you where you should be. And he flip-flopped he and Nurse on a face-off, which I thought was kind of funny. And Nurse followed along, and they won the puck right back to Klingberg, and he made a play with it. So I think he is going to be, if he continues to improve, I think this is going to be a nice addition for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, we kind of phrased it as a really good starting point. If that's where he's starting from, lots of good potential there. Struds, the one that really impressed me was when he grabbed the puck and, was in the offensive zone, head up, handling it, looking around, and that absolute laser beam of a pass, cross ice, snaps it to Connor McDavid, right past a Red Wing stick. Like that, to me, is a high-skill play, and I was just impressed by how heads up he was and the sharpness with it. I thought that was a good example right there of what his game looks like.
Bomb. It was an absolute bomb. And like I said, I was sitting in that area, and I didn't see that passing lane. And he did. And he, on his first game back after however many days, leave on that same, didn't Connor pass it back, a rifle back? Like, it was just like, here you go. Okay, here. And they were just snapping it around. Like his hockey IQ and his vision is what's always separated him, right? That's what's always separated him as when he was at his best. And that is something that is Connor and Leon will absolutely love if he can continue to build on that, Brownie.
Well, I think what you've got with Klingberg is someone that you can play with Leon. I mean, when they split him up, when Connor and Leon are on different lines, Connor McDavid has the advantage of having Ekholm and Bouchard. He's got a Bouchard that jumps up in the play, that can make the big long pass, that is a scoring threat. And then when you bump it back, then all of a sudden Leon's got Kulak or Stetcher or Emberson and Nurse. John Klingberg's played with good players. He was the defenseman in Dallas for a number of years. He was their offensive guy till they got Heiskanen. So being able to have Bouchard on one pairing and Klingberg on another pairing allows you to have Connor and Leon both having an offensive defenseman that can make a difference. And you, as you said, with finding the plays in the offensive zone, there was another nice, really good little give and go that Klingberg and Leon made at the blue line. Klingberg's a veteran that has the confidence to make those little passes that maybe an inexperienced or a lesser offensive defenseman might not want to try. But when you're playing with Leon, you have to try those. And Klingberg's got the skill level to pull it off.
What's your perception, Brownie, even from watching him before, of the what's the right word? I don't want to say sandpaper, but the sturdiness in his game? Because there was lots of reports out of Toronto that was really a big thing of what was lacking. But I recall him being a little more sturdy in his days in Dallas. And, he took the big hit on his second shift, made some nice plays, taking hits, and didn't seem to shy away from any of that at all tonight. What's your perception of him on that front?
So you're asking, do I think he's soft? I
Sure.
never
Wow.
saw that in his game, and yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, I've never saw that in his game when he was with Dallas. I always thought a guy that would take a hit to make a play, that would knew that if he was going into the corner, someone was going to drill him, but he was going to go in first to get that puck. He was an elite defenseman in the National Hockey League. He was Dallas's best defenseman for a number of years. He ran their power play. All the offense went through him. 4-on-4, he'd be the guy that the puck would go through. He doesn't have the raspiness of Matthias Ekholm, but what you want in a defenseman who is a guy that's willing to take a hit to make a play. And I've never, ever thought of Klingberg as someone that wouldn't. To me, that's never been a question. When I think of him, Struds, it's never a question, he's got skill, but I never had that but with John Klingberg.
No, and I'm with you. Now, I'm going to make a statement today, guys. I believe, as I watched the game, that was one of Darnell Nurse's more physical games recently. And is it a coincidence? Maybe it was. But when you have Klingberg out there, and I know they didn't play together a ton, but I think the evolution will be get him and Darnell together. And I think I really feel it makes it more clear what Darnell's role is to him. And he's played well this year, but he's more of the physical guy. Move the puck up, pass it those long stretch passes you want to, jump up the play like he jumped in the play today and got that penalty drawn. But it gives Klingberg a little bit clearer picture of what his role is. He can just move that puck and make those nice little shorter passes and breakouts that centers love, guys. And that's I really thought I saw that from Darnell tonight.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear from John Klingberg, Struds, in the Weiss Johnson sound box.
Weiss Johnson is offering 10% off any new furnace installed before March 1st. Should you need to replace your furnace because it stopped working, or if it's just getting old and unreliable, like Shaugger's tight hamstrings, and you want a newer, better model that is more efficient, mention you heard it on the Got Your Back podcast. When you book your estimate, and you'll receive the 10% off your new furnace price, as well as a stretching routine that Shaugger uses every morning. Visit WeissJohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
It's on point. I mean, in fairness, I don't know which one of you sent that to Randine to add to the Weiss Johnson chirps. My hamstrings are so tight, and I think it's a big part of what's wrong with me. So that one hits a little close to home, Dennis, just so you know. Here's John Klingberg post-game.
And I got coach on Klingberg if you want me to run them together.
Oh, look at you. Produce it on the fly. I love it. You go ahead and do that.
Like I said, it's still part of the process. This is just my first game. I'm going to build on every game, obviously. And I want to be at my best in the spring. But at the same time, I'm going to take steps every game here. And I think, obviously, with the skill this team have, I'm going to fit pretty good in with how they play with the puck. It's just going to be the matter of getting back to speed without the puck, I think. Yeah. And I think it's there. It's just going to be a little bit more, have a little bit better timing of, I think, reading it, of getting a better gap and reading off the teammates a little bit better.
And here's the coach on Klingberg's night.
I thought he made an excellent first impression. His first shift, he's under pressure, makes a nice pass to Leon. We go out into the zone, leads to a scoring chance. But just being able to break the puck out defensively, I thought he was good. I think he made some nice plays, got in the way. For first game, for guys who have, were at game 51, him not having training camp, missing a good portion of the regular season and coming in tonight and playing against a team that's been playing pretty well lately. I thought John did a good job.
Now I'm going to challenge Oiler fan, the excited Oiler fan, to, take a deep breath. We're not going to engage in conversations on the show about, oh boy, now they can trade this player or that player, or oh boy, now they don't need to get this or that at the deadline. We're not even in that hemisphere yet. It's one game. It's a real nice starting point for John Klingberg and for the Oilers, and let's see where it goes. And does it potentially shape a few tactical decisions coming up in the next month or so? Absolutely it does. But a really good start for Klingberg. Struds, I'm just about home here. Klingberg is the subject of our YouTube poll. So why don't you grab that and grab Relentless Player, and then I'll see you guys for takeaways.
Okay, let's do it right now. Let's get to the YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Are you fired up yet for the upcoming golf season? The new 2025 equipment from TaylorMade, Ping, and Callaway are arriving at DeBoer's. Get ahead of the fading rush and schedule an appointment today, located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Subes, what do you got for us, bud?
All right, so we're asking the chat tonight what they thought about John Klingberg's debut. So here are the choices. What did you think of Klingberg's Oiler debut? The choices are not good, just okay, better than I expected, or excited to see more.
Yeah, I like this one. I'm going to put myself in the excited to see more. I mean, I listen, coming off your first game, there's nerves on a new team already. You haven't played for a while. You've got the whole surgery thing on your mind too. I think all those things won't be an issue the next game because you played once, and I'm guessing he felt good. It's not hurting. So Brownie, I mean, it feels like there's a runway for him to continue to improve on what we saw tonight.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Struds. I'm excited to see more. I agree that I thought he was better than expected. I mean, I don't know how these guys do it nowadays. You've missed 400 days in your first NHL game. You play 16, 17 minutes against a good Detroit team, and you don't look out of place. The athletes nowadays in the NHL are much better than they've ever been. But I am excited to see what he's able to take his level to. Is he a guy that can play 20 minutes a night? Can you put him in a second pairing with Nurse, or do you put him with Ekholm, and all of a sudden you've got this really good shutdown pairing? Because the one thing that he's got, and you talk about it a lot, Struds, he's long. Like he may not be big and physical, but he's long, which gets in the way of guys coming down. He can break up plays just because his reach is so long. So yeah, 100%. I'm going with excited to see more.
Zoobs, what do you got?
Yeah, well said. I'd agree, and I think the part that makes me excited to see more too is there was someone made a good comment on the stream on the last show that was like, if Klingberg works out, then is the team done with the D? Because Emberson is good, Stetcher can play. Then it's like, then is that solidified? And because lots of people tonight will get to it and ask us anything, feeling like the team needs more finish, and that would be the focus for a lot of the fans at the deadline. So I'm excited, and I liked what I saw tonight. He looks like he's moving really well. So I hope a little bit of offense. I'd like to see a couple long stretch passes from him that set up a couple goals on the rush. But I'm definitely excited to see more.
No, and I hear it, but honestly, I think his greatest value will be the quick little breakout passes in the D zone to centers. I really think that. I think that Leon could, if this works out, Leon would be the happiest player in the NHL. I really think that's what they want. Those centers, those elite centers or players want the puck to them at the right time. Okay, boys, let's take a look at our Relentless Player now. Brought to you by You Can Use Services. 6 unforgettable evenings of laughter and heart at the annual Comedy Nights fundraiser this March promises delicious food, hilarious entertainment, and a sense of community, all in support of an incredible cause. We went last year. It was a ton of fun. Every ticket sold helps provide vital mental health support, job training, and mentorship to young people in need. Don't wait. Grab your tickets now at youcan.ca and mention Got Your Back for 10% off. I never considered this player. Sorry, I'll start that again. I don't consider this player an upper echelon center. I think that he is a really good player, but I wouldn't have him amongst the elite of the NHL centers. But tonight, guys, Brownie, Dylan Larkin was arguably the best player on the ice. He took, how many faceoffs did he take? 39 faceoffs, of which he won 62. So 62%, I should say. He had a really, really good night. I still don't think he's upper echelon, but he put on a good show tonight. Fast, speedy, scored a goal, relentless in the faceoffs.
I agree. I think he's a star in the league. I do believe Dylan Larkin is a star. I thought the best three players on the ice tonight were all on the Detroit Red Wings. I thought Larkin as a forward, Seider as the defenseman, and obviously Alex Lyon in net. But Larkin, he had a goal. He had 10 shots on net. He went head-to-head against Connor, scored the shootout where, like, he did everything. 100%. Yeah. He was outstanding. And, yeah, that is the easy one would have been to say Alex Lyon in net. But Dylan Larkin was a difference maker in this hockey game. That's a good one, Strud.
Yeah, Lyon was really good too. You know, I the reason I didn't give it to Lyon, this always feels wrong. I thought the Oilers made him move his crest a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I think they just pounded the crest a lot tonight. I didn't think that he, like, or maybe it was him. He was just always in the right place, but didn't seem like they hit him in the crest a lot tonight.
They did. He still played good. I mean, the save he made on McDavid in the shootout, like he played good. He got across on a Leon Draisaitl one. He was the better of the goal. I thought both goalies were good. I thought Alex Lyon was a little bit better simply because he had more shots that he had to face. But the Oilers, they're having problems scoring goals. When your two guys on your fourth line, Perry and Skinner, are two of your best goal scorers, you got Tamishas in your middle six.
I'm sure we'll get to Jeff Skinner after the break. Let's take a pause. When we come back, Shaugger, myself, and Zuby will continue this journey of an Oilers 3-2 overtime loss to Detroit Red Wings.
Thinking of that dream vacation? A quick winter escape? Well, flight delays are dreadful. Hospital visits, not fun. Alberta Blue Cross gives you coverage for emergency medical care, cancellations, and lost baggage. Flexibility, reliability, even lounge access or a hotel if the delay is too much. Plus 24/7 travel support ensures you're never left out in the cold. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel to learn more.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
All right, let's get to breaking down the rest of the game, shall we? In our takeaway segment, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Save up to $3,300 on select models at John Deere Gator side-by-sides. Great for the farm, jobs around the yard, or to hit the trails on. Starting at $257 a month. View their current lineup of Gators online at horizonagandturf.com or stop by one of their 13 Alberta locations to get into the seat of your next John Deere today. And the handheld blower from Horizon is going to get some kind of workout. I had to slog through a pile of snow to get in. So me, tomorrow morning, 8:30, and my steel blower Struds, we're going to dig in and take it on.
I ran it twice. I just get out there. I love it. I just love blowing that snow around. Brings me so much joy.
Such a feeling of power. We got to get one for you, Brownie. Or actually, what we might as well just buy one for Brownie's neighbor because we know he leans on them to do the driveway anyway.
Kevin would appreciate if you guys could get him a blower. Right. It would be much easier for him when he's doing my driveways.
Sounds good. We'll all chip in. By the way, Brownie, apparently you're just murdering our listeners who are on headphones right now and we appreciate that you're hands-free and that you are keeping yourself safe But man, is that ever a loud bang happening.
It's a stupid. My security tells me I'm about to get into an accident, and every time I slow down, it just does that. So every time I hit a red light, I have to put it in park. So I'm sitting right now in the middle of an Arby's parking lot so that I can talk without the stupid thing going on.
Aw.
I need a new car. Do we have a car sponsor? I need a new car.
Yeah, well, you got to visit your Alberta Ram dealer today, buddy. Absolutely.
There you go. I'm coming tomorrow.
All right. We'll get you hooked up. We will get you hooked up. There's probably a way to disable it, but you just don't know how to do it in your current vehicle. So, okay, we do have the rest of a game that we need to break down here. So, Struds, the Oilers worked themselves out to a 2-0 lead. Really, a couple of goals, like they generated the opportunities, but it was a couple of kind of lucky little bounces and such that got them out to that lead. The hockey gods smiled on Jeff Skinner there a little bit, but both of them involved fortunate bounces, I would say.
Yeah, I think the first one for sure. Bouchard was trying to go cross ice to Draisaitl. I didn't see the lane there, but it hit a stick and then it got underneath another stick and Leon got and fired it in. I'm going to give more credit to that second group, though. I think that was pressure that got to the Red Wings. All three players were attacking the net, and Lyon could have handled that one better for sure. But the pressure, I think he felt the pressure and didn't squeeze it shut and put it in there. I truly felt the Red Wings had nothing going until they scored 10 minutes into the second period. There was nothing. They didn't have a lot of shots. Yeah, they had a couple little hits, but they weren't involved. As soon as they scored that goal, it's like, oh man, we can compete with this team. Let's get going. And they did. They kind of, at worst, played even the rest of the way with the Oilers, Brownie.
Well, on the two goals that the Oilers scored, the first one, I mean, that was the hockey gods. Shootout was about to ice it down, and the puck bounces 6 inches up in the air over his stick and then falls flat for Leon Draisaitl, the best goal scorer in the National Hockey League. And on the other one, it was the defenseman, I think it was 77. Alex Lyon was about to put his hand on it, and the defenseman stuck his stick underneath the glove of his goalie, Alex Lyon, and knocked the puck free. So the Oilers got two good scoring chances and two goals because of mistakes made by and puck luck made by the Red Wings. But you're right. The Red Wings were quiet until that goal went in. And that was just a shot going wide, and you have a 6'6" forward that's got a wingspan of about 15 feet, and he deflects it back in, and all of a sudden, a Detroit team that had nothing going have belief. And the Oilers had a number of chances. When it was 2-0, and Knobloch talked about it, when it was 2-0, they had chances on the power play. They had scoring opportunities to extend the lead to 3-0. And Strudge, you and I both know when you're sitting on the bench and you're looking up and you're down 3, that is a huge difference than if you're looking up and you're down 2. When you're down 2-0, as we saw, Rasmussen scores, all of a sudden game on. If the Oilers would have been able to extend the lead, the Red Wings probably don't have that belief anymore. So credit to Lyon, and the Oilers' lack of production from a number of players played into the fact that the Detroit Red Wings are allowed to hang around a hockey game and eventually steal the extra point.
We don't say this very often. Odd off night for Connor McDavid tonight. Some mishandles, some uncharacteristic stuff, I would say. And this very seldom does this happen. He has so many amazing nights, and he was still fine, but that's not the standard by which he is measured, Struds. What did you see from 97 tonight? Yeah,
you know what? I really thought that, and I'm just going to one specific area. I thought the power play, they looked like they were frustrated. They were frustrated about what was going on in the power play. And I know they went 1 for 4, but it was lucky. And then the rest of the night, even the zone entries, like even Bouchard skating up the ice, and it was like he wasn't sure where Connor was behind him. Maybe threw it the wrong way, and Connor skate up, and then Connor tried to skate in, and he tried to throw it cross ice, maybe get picked off. But they stayed out long on the power play when it really wasn't going their way tonight, Brownie. And not that's all on Connor McDavid, but it just, that to me was a little bit of a, offensively kind of characterized how it went for the group, including 97.
Yeah, I think you said it best when they looked frustrated. There was one power play where the Oilers, it was Connor McDavid, he was on the far side, and he had to go all the way to his bench as he was changing, and it was a long skate, and he went very slowly. It was like you could see the frustration and the burning in his ears as he was leaving the ice. It's like you're the next guy jumping out. Come on, hurry up, hurry! I want to get over. But he was frustrated, and it's funny. Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon stick handle the puck more than anyone I've ever seen in my entire life. Most players, if they stick handle like the two of them, they will lose 50 to 70% of their opportunities because they will bobble it. And what we saw in the overtime at 2-on-1, Connor McDavid bobbles the stick handling, and they lose the opportunity. We don't see that from Connor McDavid. That game normally is over. 2-on-1, 8 seconds to go, Connor with the puck on his stick. I believe he was going to shoot that, and he was just stick handling, getting the defenseman to move out of the way, and the thing just bobbled on him. So I agree with you, Shaugger. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't up to the standard that we usually see number 97 at.
Did you guys see on the Oiler power play when Evan Bouchard looked off a streaking Leon Draisaitl for the headman pass? Did you see Draisaitl's reaction? Struds, did you like, so he was going full speed, and I know that the play is the slingshot back to McDavid, but every once in a while they'll kind of be a little sneaky, and Draisaitl will get a little gumption and go, and he was going, and he like 5-6 hard strides, and then glide to the blue line with his stick out there, and Bouchard dropped it back for McDavid, and Leon, he hit the brakes, and he looks up to the ceiling, and he's got the slow meander, the head bob on the back check after they didn't get the zone. And he just, and you know what? You're the best goal scorer in the game. Like, go ahead, do it. I'm not even criticizing him, but it was an epic Draisaitl moment, Struds.
Yeah, but those top guys, they give it to each other, right? They have a high standard. I've been on teams where they argue, right? Yager with Nylander, or Brendan Morrison getting from both Bertuzzi and Naslund. Like, they're just, you got to give me the puck. I need the puck. I want that. Like, everyone wants the puck, and I get it. And when you don't get it to them, especially when they think they're open or they're they're flying, it is different. But so I wouldn't say that they're fighting. They're just frustrated with each other, and I don't think that abnormal at all.
And Strud, they don't do it to players that they don't feel would make that play. They do it to they know Bouchard should make that play. He's not doing it to Emberson. He's not doing it to, Stetcher.
Good point.
He's doing it to Bouchard because Bouchard's got to see that. So he didn't see it. And there was another play. There's another. Yeah. I had to put it in park again. I'm sitting in the middle of the road right now with my hazards on. But it just was just the way that the game went for Bouchard again tonight. I think he's tentative. And you're right, Struds. There were 3 times today where he dropped the puck back to Connor McDavid that wasn't even close to where Connor McDavid needed it, who had to change his arc. And when he does that, he loses speed. So Bouchard continues to me, lack confidence right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got to keep working him through it, right? We know how good he can be when he's there. We know they're going to need him there in the playoffs. We know all of these things, but it's been enough play recently that's been below the standard for him where, he's got to get her going here. And it wouldn't surprise me if they started to maybe look at some other options. If maybe you see the odd Ekholm shift on the power play or the odd, we've already seen it once. And there should be competition for those spots. You should feel pressure. We'll see where things go with Klingberg, but he's a guy that's run a power play lots before. So, I think, the pressure should be on Evan Bouchard to try and get his game closer to the level that he had it at last year in the playoffs. Not terrible, not unusable, not as bad as what we saw in the early part of last season, but he has set a high standard by what he showed everybody he's capable of in the playoffs, and he's still working his way back to getting there. What else in this game, Struds? Like the Oilers, they give up the lead. Did you guys talk about the tenders and the relentless player? Obviously, we have a goaltender who chose the name of this show because what he picked out of tonight was the goalie duel, and we talk about Klingberg and all this other stuff. But the goalie duel was a pretty good one. And Skinner, I thought, Struds was nice and solid and made some really good saves and kind of helped stabilize his team and give him a crack at that extra point.
Yeah, he for sure did. To be honest, the relentless player was Dylan Larkin, right? You take that many
Okay.
face-offs.
Yeah. Great
And
choice.
Brownie, I love the way Brownie said it. He said that he touched so many different parts of the game for them. But, and I know you want to talk about the goalies, but I'm actually going to talk about a different Skinner. Jeff Skinner was
Yeah,
to me
yeah. Good
noticeable
call.
out there. Really
Yep.
noticeable. And on the goal, like, whatever, he taps it in there, but he goes to the net, which I think is something that is asked for by Knobloch. But I love that back check. He came back so hard on that back check. I'd like to see a little reward for that. Hey man, look, I'm doing what you want me to do. Can you give me a little something to eat here, Brownie? And I didn't see that happen for him, at least tonight.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to see that happen for him. I just don't think that he's fully in their plans. I just don't. I mean, over the last, 10, 15 games from Jeff Skinner, you've got a fairly consistent effort from him. Again, the outside of the top four players that are on the power play, the top four forwards, Nuge, Hyman, Leon, and Connor, Perry and Skinner, the next two for goals scored. That shows where the rest of the players up front are at.
Something has softened in the situation with Jeff Skinner. Something has softened. So I still don't have a clip. Should have pulled it tonight. Chris Knobloch talked about Skinner yesterday and about the fact that good players are having to sit out and that, maybe it's not the most fair thing, but they have a good team. Then we're starting to see him get some more opportunity. I feel, Struds, like it's not fait accompli that he will not be here for the stretch, that it's too far gone. Something feels like it's softened a little bit. And the other thing I hear behind the scenes, you guys, and I really think this matters, is that there is no level of pouting. There's no level of, the lower lip hanging down and poor me and aw shucks and all that from Jeff Skinner. That's not, he's just literally working hard in practice and, being a good teammate and doing the things. He's a quiet guy by nature, and he's just really working hard and waiting for opportunity. And if it shifts a little bit here, all I'm saying is I think there's a top 9 forward in there. And I don't know if the Oilers are anxious to just go firing those out the door because it hasn't quite stuck yet. I feel like something softened a little bit, Struds. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's what my gut is telling me.
That back check tonight is not done by a player who's pouting. Like that was extra hustle to get back, and he talked post game how I think Bouchard is the one who held him up. Yeah, but he back checked really hard and got that puck back and got a nice cheer from the fans. So I don't know. I'd love to see him get an opportunity up there, a real opportunity. And I know I've been beating this drum, Brownie, so it's nothing you haven't heard from me before.
No, and I agree with you. And I've said all along, I believe he's a top 6 forward in the NHL. I just don't think he's won the trust of this coaching staff, and the fact that he's been a healthy scratch as much times as he has, says that. Was he in the lineup? Was Kapanen a healthy scratch tonight?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, that was
because I heard Kapanen wasn't on the ice for practice. I don't know, but to me, I think Skinner can play, and I've always said that. I just don't think the coaches believe it, and I'll stick with it. I don't think game 83 of the season, I don't think Jeff Skinner's playing in it.
Yeah. I mean, he may not be in the lineup, but he might be the next guy that they have ready to go. He might be, good Stanley Cup winning teams. You got a guy sitting on deck just outside the lineup who's still a pretty good player a lot of times. So I don't know. I might be wrong. I sense, Struds, that he is working his way back into another look into the top 6. That things like that back check, things like, decisions to have him in the lineup, to play him on more of a third line. I think we're starting to see some of this stuff. I feel like he's working his way back into another crack at it. I don't know for sure, and we'll see which way the head coach goes with it. Let's wrap the segment just talking about overtime. Nice penalty kill in overtime. Nice work out there by those guys that did that. But Brownie, what did you see in overtime and the way the whole thing wrapped up?
Well, in all honesty, I thought when the Red Wings didn't score on their power play, I thought game over for the Red Wings because they've lost Moritz Seider, they've lost Larkin, Connor, Leon are going to come out, and it's going to be game over for the Detroit Red Wings. And they got the matchup they wanted. The Oilers had Connor and Leon out. Tarasenko was out there playing against them. and he can't play defense anymore. And the Oilers had their chances. They had the 2-on-1s. They had Connor walking down the middle. Leon Draisaitl, he looked to the heavens after Lyon made the one save where he caught it between his side and his arm. So the Oilers got their chances after they killed that penalty off. If you don't score in a power play in overtime, honestly, you don't deserve the second point. But Alex Lyon in the shootout got him that second point, and with a couple big saves at the end of overtime. I thought it was an exciting overtime. I really did, and this is the first time this year, because the Oilers play high event overtimes. This is the first time they went to a shootout, and I think a lot of it was on the back of both goalies. You mentioned earlier, I thought both goaltenders were excellent in this hockey game, and both of them gave their team a chance to get that extra point.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add there. I think it's just, once you go to a shootout, maybe someone's feeling a little more confident, a little less confident, and it's kind of like a coin toss. I know someone's going to say I'm wrong, but I've been on those benches before, and you're like, okay, it's out of my hands. I've done my job. I played my 13 minutes. So, I don't know that they deserved the extra point, but I think the Oilers have got it like, yeah, okay, they probably won one that at best was a coin toss.
Yeah. Brownie, you just about home, buddy?
I'll be home in 3 minutes.
You'll be home in 3 minutes. Okay, well, we'll let you bounce. Struds and I are going to get one more segment in here, and then we'll catch up with you for brownie points at the Struddy's World when you get yourself safely inside, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, talk to you soon. Zuby, let's get to a scoreboard here, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at an impressive 58%. It's their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. It's a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a great butterscotch finish. Really is a good one. Struds, what else is going on out there tonight?
Well, let's start out east. There's 10 games tonight, and the Senators beat the Capitals 5-4. The Sens are making a push up the standings to chase down their neighbors there in Toronto, the Leafs. And in this game, Ovechkin gets his 23rd goal of the year. That means he has 19 left to chase down the great Wayne Gretzky.
Wow.
Closer to home, although closer but further, the Lightning beat the Kings earlier today, 3-0. So that definitely helps the Oilers. Again, they're trying to make their way back and pull away from the Kings. And then the Blue Jackets do the Oilers a favor, beat Golden Knights in overtime, 2-1. In that one, the Flames, we'll talk about them later, big trade in the NHL. They beat the Ducks 4-1, so they keep their fight for the playoff spot. That's kind of it for what would relate to the Oilers or big news in the NHL.
Right. Good stuff. Our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Zuby, we got the prospects report in the system ready to rock and roll. We'll get there as we go to break.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Ryan Reed did a nice job this week, bringing you up to speed on all things Bakersfield and Oiler prospects in our In the System, brought to you by Long Shots Indoor Golf and Sports Bar. Swing into Long Shots Golf, Sherwood Park's ultimate sports bar and golf destination, and it's just got even better. They're excited to launch their brand new menu featuring family-friendly options and a kids menu as well. So if you're teeing off on their TrackMan simulators, catching NHL or NFL games and specials, enjoy a great meal with your crew. Long Shots has something for everyone. Come on in for the sports and stay for the fun. Here's Ryan Reed in the system.
The Bakersfield Condors started their homestand off strong with a 4-2 win over the Henderson Silver Knights. This is the Condors' 11th straight home win over the Silver Knights. Ethan DeYoung scored his first AHL goal late in the second, and Matthew Savoy recorded a goal and an assist. With 31 points on the season, Savoy now sits third among all AHL rookies in points and is tied for 6th in goals. Derek Ryan made his Bakersfield debut and posted an assist on Savoy's power play marker. The Condors now hold a playoff spot and will host the Toronto Marlies on February 1st, just a couple hours after the Maple Leafs play the Oilers. Bo Akey has 3 assists over his last 5 games in Barrie, but hasn't scored since November 11, 2024. He had 2 of those assists in a win against Owen Sound on January 22nd. Sam O'Reilly is still putting up numbers, but at a lesser rate than before. He has 1 goal and 5 points over his last 5 games, but is goalless over his last 4. 2024 7th-round pick William Mickle cooled off from his hot start and is goalless over his last 14 games. However, he has 8 assists over that span. 2020 fifth-round pick Maxim Beryashkin has 21 assists to accompany 12 goals this season with Lokomotiv Yaroslavl in the KHL. His 21 assists is tied for 29th in the country with the likes of Ivan Demidov. 2022 fifth-round pick Samuel Janssen made 20 saves in a 4-2 win last night. He now has a 16-1-0 record with a 1.79 goals against average and a .924 save percentage with 5 shutouts in 18 Hockey Allsvenskan games in Sweden's second league. My name is Ryan Reed, and that's what's happening in the system.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Time now. Excuse me. Little voice crack to start the segment on a break. Time now for Struddy's World. Brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. If you're a contracting business or a contractor, let DLR help you add vinyl fence to your product line. Reliable, unmatched service with high-quality North American-made products. Visit dlrvinylproducts.ca. Struds, where are we going?
Well, first off, I forgive you for the voice crack. 2-hour naps are hard to recover from, buddy, that you had today. So I hope you're able
Just
to
get on with it.
Grind it out. Taylor Hall recently traded from Chicago to Carolina, and by all reports, he's skating well. And I didn't play tonight because he was sick, but he had some comments. He was asked about his time in Chicago, and I'm quoting him here. This is Taylor Hall. My playing time in Chicago, for whatever reason, was not where I would have liked it to be. So I was happy to be traded, and I was happy to come to a really good team. They have a different timeline in Chicago than my career is at. I'm definitely a better player than the amount I was playing, but you have to also understand where they're coming from. They wanted to play the young guys. I read this today, and you know what? I get it. I like hearing those things. I want to hear how a player feels after they leave. And, you know, the Blackhawks came through here, and he was playing on the fourth line. I think it was with Teddy Donato and Pat Maroon, which is, you know, two guys that I think are, you know, nearing the end of their NHL career. For sure, one of them is. And not really offensive players that, you know, Taylor Hall needs to surround himself with. He did have a massive, you know, it was out a long time last year, and they didn't seem to kind of give him any road access to kind of get going again, including a scratching they didn't even know about this year. So he's out. He's there in Carolina. They play a fast game, and it may be more suited for him for sure. But I like that. I like hearing this from athletes because I want to know what you think. If it didn't work out where you're at, just tell it.
Well, I like how he said it too. He didn't say it as a jerk. He was honest.
No.
He said, you know what? I wasn't playing. I felt I deserved more. I'm happy. He didn't badmouth anyone. He didn't throw anyone under the bus, just was honest. And you got to respect that. I think the trade is good for Carolina. I think Taylor Hall's a good fit there. He's a incredibly skilled player that there's not a lot of pressure on him. There's no leaning on him. He can find a role. And the thing is, in Chicago, the third line has no offensive upside. In Carolina, their third and fourth lines have offensive upside. So you can play down the lineup in Carolina and still be playing with pretty good players, and Taylor Hall will be.
For sure, yeah. I mean, listen, I'll never criticize an athlete for speaking honestly and telling people how he feels. That's great. Taylor's always been a very straightforward guy. Always really liked him, enjoyed interviewing him for sure. So yeah, good on him, and you wish good things for him. I do have to say, I mean, the game we saw him play against the Oilers recently, I was watching that game thinking like, whoa, what has happened to Taylor Hall here? Now, I'm not saying that he's lost his game or anything like that. For whatever reason, that night he wasn't feeling it. And obviously, towards the end in Chicago here, Struds, probably the weight of all of it and the lack of playing time, that's going to affect the guy. It only naturally can. So he'll be re-energized in Carolina for sure. And you hope good things for him. But certainly some of what happens in Chicago has to be on him as well.
Is there going to be a player that's traded that goes from the situation in Chicago to perhaps one of the now Stanley Cup favorites? Like, is there going to be that massive a swing? I think Carolina was a good team before. I didn't have them as a Stanley Cup favorite. Now I think they are a Stanley Cup favorite with Mikko and, let's say a re-energized Taylor Hall. So a lefty and a left winger, a right winger, right? So that's a massive swing for him on that day. Can you imagine you wake up, you're at the Blackhawks, you go to sleep, and you're now playing with Carolina, who just added, in my feelings, one of the top 5-6 players in the NHL, guys.
Yeah, 100%. The Carolina's got a good hockey club, and they just got better with Hall and Rantanen.
Look forward to seeing Taylor Hall in some playoff hockey and see what he might be able to bring. Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. All right, time for Brownie to take center stage. It's time for Brownie Points. Brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. It's out of this world. They sent their sweet and spicy jerky to the International Space Station. In 2009, it was part of a project to introduce authentic but space-friendly food. For the month of January, you get free shipping Alberta-wide on all orders over $55. They sent it to space. They can send it to you, right? Hop onto albertajerky.com to order yours. Enter the code GOTYOURBACK, and that will get you an additional 10% off. Brownie, give out some points.
Well, I'm going to jump on the Jason Strudwick bandwagon. My first one, I got 10 brownie points to Dylan Larkin in a game that featured a ton of superstars. Larkin was the best player on the ice. He took 10 shots. He scored 39 faceoffs, which for Adam Henrique, that might be 5 games worth of faceoffs. I mean, that's a lot of faceoffs. He's 61% in, scores the shootout winner, going head-to-head against Connor most of the night. Dylan Larkin was excellent in this hockey game. I have to take away 2 brownie points from the Washington Capitals. I don't know if you saw this tonight. They got I think it was in the first period, got a too many men on the ice penalty. And while they were killing that off, they got another too many men on the ice penalty. They were down 5 against 3, and both penalties were too many men on the ice. This is the best team in the NHL that took too many men penalties within a minute of each other, and we're down 5-3. I've got 31 brownie points to Winnipeg Jet center Mark Scheifele. There was lots of talk here in Edmonton about Hyman not making the team. People were upset. Stuart Skinner not making the team. Scheifele has 31 goals on the season. There is only one player in the NHL right now with more goals. That's Leon Draisaitl. He's not in the tournament. The top goal scorer going to the Four Nations will not be playing there. Mark Scheifele right now is not on the team. He leads the National Hockey Leagues outside of Leon Draisaitl with 31 goals. It is an absolute mistake. You imagine the fourth line for the Team Canada could be Scheifele, Hyman, and Duchesne. I know that you guys like Bennett, but there's no way Bennett should be ahead of Mark Scheifele on this hockey club. I got 572 brownie points to Minnesota Wild goalie Marc-Andre Fleury. He had 572 wins under his belt. He played his final game tonight in his home province of Quebec. He got a shutout. He was fantastic in this hockey game. They gave him a standing ovation with 6 minutes to go in the game. He was the goalie of the other team. He made a big save in front of the net, and the Montreal fans gave him a standing ovation. After the game, the Montreal Canadian team stood on the ice and shook his hand. A classy moment. There's very few times I get, chills watching hockey games. Tonight I did, watching Marc-Andre Fleury at the end of his game with his teammates, and then with the respect from the crowd and the opposite team, the Montreal Canadiens. And my last one, this is a big one. I got 10 huge brownie points, as big a points as you can possibly get, to our buddy Struds for successfully achieving 10 straight days of solving the daily Wordle.
He got it.
Jason,
He's
congratulations.
back, baby.
You
He's
are back.
back.
I mean, it was a pretty easy one, but yes, Jason, congratulations. And we are all pulling for number 11 tomorrow.
Thank you. Well, that means a lot coming from my favorite poet. You look great tonight, Brownie. Or is it jazz musician? Where's the jazz flute? You know?
I like that very much. Yes.
It's the all black turtleneck. It's a refined.
No,
look.
this is actually blue. This is navy blue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the dark turtleneck.
It's freezing cold in the press box. I needed something warm to wear.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
But thank you.
I've never
Thanks
been
for
that cold.
Brownie Boys brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Yeah, Struddy's on fire tonight. It's freaking annoying. All right, let's keep it rolling. Brownie, we're going to keep you for one more segment here. Lots of people want to talk about this Calgary Flames Philadelphia Flyers trade. So we're going to get to that in Taking a Lap, and we're going to keep Brownie for that segment. It's brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. They're looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join the Acon team and start building the stuff that matters today. Join Acon by sending your resume to them. So the email address, if you're looking for work, trades@acon.com. That is trades@acon.com. So recapping, big trade happened tonight. Frank Saravalli was the one that broke that it was going to happen, and then others pitched in breaking it down. I'm just was looking for the full deal here. I had it, and then I lost it. Where was it? Andrei Kuzmenko, Jacob Peltier, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2028 seventh-round pick from Calgary in exchange for forward Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost as well. Struds, what was your immediate reaction when all the details flooded in and you saw this? What do you think what the Flames did here?
Yeah, the Flames, I love the way Craig Conroy is approaching this rebuild. He's trying to add players. He's trying to build his team with guys that have some years. He doesn't want to just get guys that are draft picks at 18 or 19. So he brings in Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, both former first rounders, 24, 25 years old. Now, the one is an RFA. The other one has a few years left on, I think it's like $4 or $5 million deal. And they're having off years. These two are having off years. But that age, he talked about it. That age he wants to plug into his group, not 20-year-olds, not 30-year-olds. It's right in the middle. So, can Ryan Huska, who I think has done a pretty good job with a lot of the players there, I think he's done a really good job, I should say. That's unfair. Helping these guys develop. Can he get them going? On the other side, they get 2 draft picks. I mean, we'll park the 7th on the side for a minute. The second rounders, okay, it's obviously not bad. Kuzmenko, to me, he's been on and off during his career, right? I think that, this year in the Flames with Calgary, he's been sat out a bit, and he's only scored 4 times in 37 games for a guy who's a scorer. If you're not scoring, I think it makes life hard. Jacob Pelche, though, he hasn't quite found his niche either. So maybe they moved that over. So feels like Philly's maybe trying to find a little space. Kuzmenko could get traded again because UFA after that. But Brownie, I really like this move and the age specifically where these guys are slipping in to the Flames lineup.
Yeah, I think it's a huge win for the Flames. I think they got 2 young players who are having off seasons, but is that because of their situation in Philadelphia, who they got a coach that is hard to play for, who is hard on his players? They're going to a much more player-friendly type coach in Calgary. And you gave up Kuzmenko, who I honest to God, I mean, Tortorella is having trouble with their superstar Russian kid. He's been a healthy scratch. He's going to hate Kuzmenko. I've watched him. I mean, this kid has got some skill, but he is lazy. He'll be a healthy scratch in his first 5 games in Philadelphia. And Pelche's a nice young player, but a smaller player. I think this is a huge win for the Calgary Flames. I believe, and this is what I like about Conroy, this Calgary Flame team is overachieved. I don't think anyone was really expecting them to be here in a playoff push right now. They are ahead of the Vancouver Canucks. And I think because they've overachieved, and this is a team that gave away 3 really good defensemen last year. I think, and their goalie's gone. And I think this is Conroy saying, you know what, you guys are doing well. Let's continue to build this team. Let's not sell off. Let's give you guys a chance to make a run at a playoff spot. So to me, if I'm a veteran on the team, a Kadri, a Huberdeau, an Anderson, I'm like, all right, good. Yeah, we are showing. We've got a chip on our shoulder. So good on the Calgary Flames, good on Craig Conroy. And to me, this is the Philadelphia Flyers. I think it was a mistake by the Flyers and a really nice move by the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Kuzmenko thing is definitely interesting to see how that, to see how that's going to go with Torts. Like, he's working his way through a number of teams here and a number of coaching staffs. So it'll be interesting to see which way that goes. The Peltier thing, I get it, but I'll keep an eye on him because sometimes you get to your next organization and you figure a few things out. He had been coming on lately. I think he had 6 points in his last 8 games and was, Huberdeau and Kadri, he was often seen playing with those guys. So young player that had struggled but was starting to get a little bit of traction. But you got to give stuff up to get stuff. And to Strud's point, this age zone is maybe more in line with, with taking the steps that they want to take. So I love it. We've had a couple of pretty good-sized trades here in the last week or so. It's been lots to talk about in this segment. Struds, where else? Where's our other lap we're going to take tonight, buddy?
Announcement today, the 4 nations. We love to announce this stuff quite a bit in advance. Who the captains are for the 4 teams. No surprise. Sidney Crosby, Canada. Austin Matthews, USA. Barkov, Finland. And then Hedman, Sweden. So we're off and running.
No surprises.
No.
Not on the captains. No. I was going to ask, were any surprise on Canada that it was Makar and not McKinnon with the A's? Because I believe it was McDavid and Makar, was it not?
I thought all 3 of them were. I saw McKinnon's name too. I could be wrong though, but I thought I saw McKinnon's name.
I think it was just the 2 of them, but I know you two don't respect D-man, but we're a very important part of the group. So I think you got to give a D-man a spot.
Positional? Yeah.
Wow.
You think
give
so?
Him some love.
Hey. Okay.
Give him some love.
The thing is, none of those players care. I mean,
for sure.
50% of the players in this tournament are captains on their own team. They don't care who is the captain. I think this was. Yeah. It's funny. John Shannon on our show tonight said this is so obvious that he thought these things had already been done. Like it's like, they haven't announced this already because because you all know who it's going to be. So to me, there's no surprises. There's 4 incredible leaders on a group of, would there be 80 players in this tournament? 60 of them are leaders on the teams they're already on.
Yeah. All right. 4 Nations set to go in a couple of weeks' time, and Got Your Back will be live from the 4 Nations. I'll be out there covering it for TSN and Sports Center. And so we'll look forward to some of that. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. Brownie, time for you to shut her down, buddy. Go and sip something by the fire.
I went up to my truck to see if I can turn that stupid siren thing off that's bugging everybody on the podcast. It is so annoying. Yeah. And then all the lights show up on, it says I'm getting into a car crash. I'm like, I'm the only person on the highway. It was really tough.
We did have some helpful folks on the stream, Brownie. They said, take it to the dealership. They might be able to reset it. Other people saying, check your sensors. Maybe your sensors are covered or impeded in some way. So
I did. I tried. I went out and I started wiping them off. I actually stopped in the middle of the St. Albert Trail, put it in park, put my hazards on, and walked around trying to wipe off all of the sensors.
But Brownie, work. You can't wipe sensors off properly when you still have the jazz flute in your hand. So just put the jazz flute down, go deal with it. You can't do 2 things at once.
You're beating a dead horse right now. Okay. The joke was funny before. You can't just continue with it. See, I'm trying to Shaugger. You know what? You can give him advice right now on the humor
on how to be funny. Even I know not to go back to the same joke twice in one segment, Strud. So,
you know what?
Yeah, we're calling you out on that one, buddy. Beat it with that.
It's starting to become a little more obvious now why Randine felt I was the funniest on the program. I will never go to the same joke twice.
I would agree with that. Your humor is a little more refined than Strud's super obvious, childlike.
Like his dress. The way he dresses.
All right, Brownie. Go to bed. See you, buddy. Nice job tonight.
See you, buddy.
We come back. What do we got left? I'm so tired. I can't remember. Now we'll have Ask Us Anything and our Core Blue Liner segment as well. Still lots ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
You're like, yeah, probably.
All right, time now for us to take a trip, brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Who might be taking a trip at this year's trade deadline? Well, if you're planning a trip, whether it's a dream vacation, a quick winter escape, or a trip to watch your team play, don't forget travel insurance. Alberta Blue Cross has your back with emergency medical care, cancellations, lost baggage, and more. Flexibility, reliability, even lounge access. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel to learn more. Struds, now, this is not an obvious one, but you're just having a thought about the Columbus Blue Jackets selling high on a guy that really they got for nothing.
Well, I was feeling pretty good about my idea last night with Jordan Greenway, and so I was trying to think of less obvious people. And this one is quite not obvious, but Dante Fabro. We know that Columbus is as outperforming the expectations of most of us this year, and as we speak right now, Columbus finds himself in a playoff spot, right? But they're tied with Tampa for the wild card. Boston 1 point behind, Detroit 2 points behind them, and then you got the Islanders, Canadians, and those guys are maybe 4 or 5 points down. But Dante Fabro was picked up on waivers, and he's come over and delivered in a big way. He's been a great partner for Zach Werenski. And so I thought to myself, like, let's assume, and obviously they've got to fade out of playoff contention for this to happen. But if someone to reach out, say, hey, you know, he's shown what he can do when he's playing with a top player, he can support that player. Maybe that's an opportunity to sell high on a guy and get a return back. Now, they may think, well, we want to keep this guy for Zach Werenski's partner, and I understand that. But you still never know what's out there, what the return may be. So I get it's a little bit of out, you know, maybe a stretch considering where Columbus is and how he's performed with Zach. But for a franchise that's trying to build and rebuild and kind of get going, I would make the call if I was a team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting thought, because anytime you can turn something like that around and, basically pick somebody up for nothing and then get good use out of them and then turn them into an asset, I understand where the thought process is there. At the same time, there's sometimes when something works, there's just such a value when something clicks, when something works. And the idea that he clicks with a defenseman is important, as Zach Werenski, that there's chemistry there, that for whatever reason you found your guy, a guy. I think you have to take that pretty seriously. I think it would have to be a pretty significant offer, because when you find somebody that can develop that chemistry and really, this has been an unbelievable performance this season from Werenski, I would think they would be as much in the headspace to how can we duplicate this? How can we make sure, everything in our power to try and duplicate this? But might be tempting if someone sees him as a good fit on a real contender and they've got first rounders in the chamber and such. And I don't know if that's what it would be or exactly what it would look like, but you get my point. It'll be tempting for teams. So
he's making $2.5 million. So the money, I don't think is a big issue. He's UFA, right? So I think the first conversation is to be had with the coach and the GM. Say, hey, do we want to sign this guy? And then perhaps you need to resign him before the trade deadline, right? To see where, or checking with him at least, his agent. And then maybe over the next month, we'll see him re-signed, and then this goes to bed. But if we're sitting here a month from now and he hasn't been re-signed, perhaps, and Columbus has tumbled a bit, which they're not really showing much of that right now. It might be worth revisiting this at that time.
Was 13 minutes and 6 seconds a night with the Nashville Predators on average when they got going, and has been 21-51 with the Columbus Blue Jackets. What an incredible turnaround to a season.
Crazy.
Man, he deserves a tremendous amount of credit. Like that, what a turnaround for his career, Struds. All of a sudden,
yes,
in that role.
Now, and this is going to sound bad, but he's playing beside perhaps the best D-man in the league right now, right? Zach Werenski, when we consider the team he's playing on, what he's surrounded with. Now, there's some good players there, but he is playing beside a really, really good player, and Zach's having a really, really, really good year. And that's why I'm like, if the management thinks this is just a lift, playing with Zach, well, then you move him out. So I don't know. I again, there's lots of moving parts here, but he's been a great fit there.
Matt Blom says Werenski averaging 26 plus minutes per game is insane. Yeah, that is pretty intense usage there for Zach Werenski. Right in the conversation and near the top of it for the Norris Trophy this season. And a great story in Columbus if they can stay in the fight and stay close. What a story it's been so far this year. Okay, let's get to our core blue liners. Lots of discussions about blue liners tonight. We got Klingberg, we got Fabro, we got our core blue liners segment tonight, brought to you by HSE Core Services. So if you're a small or medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to your health and safety compliance. They'll create and manage a tailored health and safety program that'll help you meet all legislation and core requirements. They support clients' operations every step of the way. Check them out online, hsecor.com. Did you play Tom on the tennis court today, Struds? Is he the one that felt the wrath of that two-handed backhander?
Tom wasn't there. Tom wasn't there, but I suspect we'll reconnect next week. And two Titans on the tennis court.
Yeah. Do you feel you're closing the gap a little? Are you closing the gap?
No. I've barely played. And he's got no, it's not even close. Not even close. Okay. So, there's a pretty good D on that group, and Maurice Seider would be at the top of them. But I went off the board a little bit. Someone that I don't think most players would know, 21-year-old, or most fans would know, 21-year-old Simon Edvinsson. So this guy was a 6th overall pick in 2021 by the Red Wings, and he's a big guy, 6'6", gets around the ice pretty well. But when I watched him tonight live, the first thing I noticed was his stick. He's got a long reach, and he is sticking that thing everywhere, right? He's poking here, poking there. Like, he's really good at it. He actually took on Connor once, one-on-one, and he got in Connor's way. And Connor had to kind of change his plan and kind of kick the puck around him. And if you make Connor get the puck off his stick, that's a win for a D-man, especially a young one. So he kills penalties on the power play yet. No, he's only 21, and they've got Maurice Seider, so I'm not sure if that's going to change or not. But I like the way he uses the stick, right? He seems to take up a lot of space. So there's something there with Steve Yzerman and his group.
I like 7 goals. Well, he's got 4 this year in 46 games, but goal scoring from a 6'6" defenseman, like that's, the skill you see from these big guys, Struds. And the Detroit Red Wings have some absolute oak trees, eh? They got some tall boys. Like that Soderblom, 6'8"?
He's huge. Yeah, and he's kind of gangly out there and moving around, but you just take up space. You take up a lot of that space, which I think is healthy, especially when you're playing against a team that's speedy, because now maybe not as fast, but you can reach and poke. And that's what we saw from Simon a lot tonight, or a few times tonight.
Yeah. What do you think of this Red Wings team, man? I was pretty impressed. I thought they were, I think there's some good young players there. I think Todd's got them going hard. I think Larkin was impressive tonight. Like, I know it's been a pretty significant disappointment this year, but it feels like under Todd, they got some mojo.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think, and keep in mind they didn't have Kane tonight, and Patrick Kane is, pretty offensively gifted player. And they're fighting for their lives in the playoffs, right? What have they got? 8 wins in their last, 10, 12 games. 6 wins in the last 10 games. They're really going. But if you watch the first half of the game, you wouldn't have thought that, right? And then you watch the second, and you're like, boy, these guys are dynamic. And that's the word I'd use. They're explosive. They skate. They've got a lot of speed in and around their lineup. So yeah, I would suspect they're going to keep challenging for a playoff spot as they move it forward.
Yeah. All right. That was our Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Zuby, we should wrap up the poll here, buddy. See how people were feeling about the John Klingberg preview. You want to hop in and do that for us before we get to Ask Us Anything?
I sure do. Where am I? Here I am.
Where are you? Zuby?
I'm coming. Oh, it's.
Where art thou?
Oh, I'm gonna get rid of your photo. There we go. You're back. My computer's been a little kind of chunking along a little bit at times tonight. I'm considering getting a new box. We'll see. We'll see see how that plays out. Okay, here was the poll tonight. We asked the chat, what did you think of Klingberg's Oiler debut? Excited to see more. Came in at first place, 37%. Better than I expected, 31% of the vote. Just okay, 28%, and not good, only 2%. So for the most part, pretty positive reviews. We did have a couple of good comments on the stream. Davin said Klingberg looked tentative. Detroit's a good forechecking team, so that was a good test. And Mark Plouffe said happy with Klingberg's game, simple plays, and looking forward to his play going forward. So that was the DeBoers.
I'm a little surprised. So yeah, thanks, Zuby. Sorry about that to interrupt you. The DeBoers YouTube poll.
Golf shop and
Are you
Center
surprised? Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that there was that much saying just okay. What was that percentage, buddy? 20-some percent?
20,
just
28.
Okay?
28 said just okay.
No, I thought maybe it might be skew a little bit more to the more positive Struddy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of excitement around this player though, and people want to see magic. And it's unfortunately magic doesn't usually show itself 10 times a game. But what I saw as magic was there's little plays to get out of his own zone and break it out. That's what I view as magic for a D-man, because I know how much the forwards value that.
Yep. All right, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, founded in 1976. BJ Electric Supplies is a full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. Visit bjelectric.ca. All right, Zuby, what are the folks talking about tonight?
Well, we haven't talked much about teeing up the Leafs game, so we did have a question here from Machine Gun Yanmark. Said, I'd call up Josh Brown to keep Nurse from going to the box for a fight with Reeves. It kind of even was slipped my mind of what happened the last two times these teams met. Is there anything happening? Are there any shenanigans on Saturday afternoon in the rematch, Struddy?
Well, no one else is going to do it. If Darnell decides he's going to, or something needs to be done, he'll do it himself. I truly believe that's who Darnell Nurse is. And I think it's 50-50. And it's not because he's scared or anything like that. But I remember the interviews he had after, this guy was coming in to hurt me. I think he might go and fight him. I truly might. I truly do think that might happen. And on Saturday night hockey, oh my mama. That's prime time, boys.
Yeah, I don't know, Struds. Like we were polar opposites after that event happened. I mean, you were very firm and similar to what you just said there, that Nurse, this is something that Nurse will take very, very personally, and he'll go out there and do. I'm not as convinced that he will. I don't believe that he needs to. I will not think twice if he doesn't. No judgment there at all. Darnell Nurse is a monumentally more important player shift to shift than Ryan Reeves is to his team. No disrespect to Reeves. That's just their place in their respective lineups. So tactically, it's not smart for Nurse to fight Ryan Reeves. You risk injury in fighting Ryan Reeves. He's one of the best fighters in the league, and Darnell Nurse can scrap with anybody, but he isn't exactly a defensive fighter either, Strud. So, I don't love it. I don't love it for the Oilers, and I think the coaching staff just stays out of the way, and, you respect Nurse enough to let him handle his business if he feels he needs to. But I can't help but think that Darnell Nurse, maybe a younger Darnell Nurse might have just been all rambunctious and going and getting her done. But I also think that Darnell Nurse, he's a dad now, and he picks his spots in a much different way than he used to. And you think about things like head injuries in a different way. He's already had a bad one this year. I don't know, man. I just think there's bigger picture here for Darnell Nurse, and I think he's in more of a headspace to be aware of that bigger picture. That being said, it'll probably happen now, but my sense on it is it's a little different than it used to be, Struds, for him.
And all those reasons make sense. And I'm not sitting here saying he should go fight him. I'm just saying that the history of Darnell Nurse, I think he feels he's the big cop, right? He's the big guy. And I know how I would have felt. There is no doubt it would happen Saturday night. No doubt at all that would have happened. And now I wasn't even close to as good as player or as important as Darnell is, but it doesn't mean that attitude inside you. Like, you just skate out there and look at the guy. You're like, I can't even look at this guy without wanting to just beat him up, right? And that's a hard feeling to get rid of. So maybe he takes a run at him. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
Had a chat with Mark Masters today, who's coming into town. Masters Nation visiting Alberta. He's not 100% sure if Reeves is even going to be in the lineup. So there's some debate about that. And if you're the Leafs, I mean, do you play him just so that maybe you draw Darnell Nurse into something goofy and that is advantage for the Leafs? I don't know. I don't know how much you even think about this if you're the Leafs, but it'll be interesting to see if he's even in there.
All right, I'm going to kind of lump a few things together here, a few good comments, because they're all kind of on the same topic, which is what do the Oilers still need to add? Ro Nelson says, Podkolzin, -7 in his last 7 games. Arvidsson ripped in the intermission. That line doesn't look good. On the flip side of that, we had someone induced comic said, I liked Arvidsson's game tonight. He was driving plays to the net. Too bad he didn't bury one. Bobo Fett saying, beginning to think maybe that top 6 scoring upgrade. They need a top 6 scoring upgrade after watching Arvidsson and Skinner. And then there was one other idea here. Oilers fan reaction said, Oilers don't need a big move to make the team better at forward. Bring in a depth center, low cost. Honestly, that's what this team needs. Is that thought, I mean, do you think the team is still looking at what's happening right now and saying, gosh, we still need a finisher? We still need a top 6 goal scorer? Or do you think that idea of a smaller move, adding a center, is more top of mind moving forward here, Shaugger?
Yeah, I think they're going to see what happens on the blue line, because I don't think you can add a top 4 defenseman and a top 6 forward all kind of at the same time. I think it gets pretty tough. I do think, though, that if Klingberg works out reasonably well here and they feel like they can get some good minutes out of him, they might get a little more lofty in their thought process up front, and that could see someone coming in to compete for a spot next to Leon Draisaitl. That would make some sense to me. I like Arvidsson too. I like his motor. He works hard. So does Podkolzin. But Brownie, has been on this all year long. You look at the numbers, and it's not necessarily where it needs to be for those true top 6 forwards, Struddy.
Yeah, and I talked to someone in St. Louis today about Brandon Saad, and I said, what was going on there? And they say he's a great guy, works hard, and his skating is pretty good. The challenge that he was having, he needs someone to get him the puck because he can shoot. And he didn't feel that there's anyone there that could pass the puck. And there's a guy, I think, here that probably looked for a line mate that can shoot in Brandon Saad or in Leon Draisaitl. So, maybe it does make sense. He was pretty optimistic about what he believes Brandon Saad could do beside a guy like Leon.
Quick hitter here. Kagel says he wants to call up Savoy. We've talked about him a little bit. It sounds like he's doing well in Bakersfield. Is there a scenario here where he gets a look, or would it have to be an injury, or is there any other scenario where he gets a look in the regular season here?
Yeah, part of this conversation probably involves Noah Philp as well. Like, I asked Knobloch specifically about Philp post-game, and there's been some ups and downs, but Knobloch, at least what he's saying publicly, has liked his game and did like his game tonight. Struds, he showed some of the power that he has. He fits really well into this role that he's here to be, which is a 4th line player. He's got the frame for that. Savoy would need to come in, and it's a completely different kettle of fish for him. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to even have him trying to play in and around those lines. So it's very different right now.
I'm looking more long term for him. So I believe if there's an injury, yep, call him up, get him in there a couple games, just to get his beak wet. Then he goes back down in the minors, because I don't know that his journey includes, playoff games, meaningful playoff games this year.
Lots of people on the stream wanted you guys to be harder on Connor McDavid for we talked about it, but not having a great night. But I'm not going to. You could tie that in if you want. But there was an interesting comment here, I thought, from Chris Pike, who just said, "Wish McDavid was more selfish and shoot the puck a bit more. Always looking to make a pass, but he's got an unreal shot." That selfishness certainly doesn't seem to be in his nature. But is that a word you'd use? Would you like to see McDavid be a little bit more selfish, Struddy?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he could. I'm trying to think back to the game. Did he have look off some shots? I mean, on the power play, it's clear they're trying to go backdoor, right? They're trying to zing it through the power play or through the defenders. I look at Connor and my feeling is that he's not unloading both barrels every night. I think that he's kind of paced himself through the year. He's having a pretty good year. I don't think he's unloading everything. It's not suggest he's lazy or he's not trying. It's a long year. And they're trying to win the ultimate thing, which is Stanley Cup. And maybe he felt that last year he gave too much too early.
That's interesting. I mean, that's heady thought process for someone doing something that, I mean, we have no idea what that might be like. Like, no idea what it might be like to play those minutes and to try and be like, well, maybe if I'm only unbelievably phenomenal for the regular season instead of otherworldly phenomenal, I'll have a little bit more left for the playoffs. Like trying to budget your energy as a superstar player over an 82 game grind. What we do know is the physicality has come out of his game for sure. He had 64 goals one year. Like, he showed the world he can be an absolutely elite goal scorer. But his game it's different now, and he plays a little bit different. So, yeah. And as far as his play tonight, I mean, we pointed it out. Connor McDavid had an off night tonight. I said it. An uncharacteristic off night. Wasn't a lot that was going well for him. Wasn't a lot looking great. Uncharacteristic turnovers and such. We're not going to spend a bunch of time harping on him, though, because he's so good on so many nights. But, yep, an off night for him, and not shooting the puck like he did his 64-goal year, but he's still having a hell of a year. And I'm intrigued by your point, Struds, that maybe he's slowly putting little energy points in the bank.
Okay, I got one more here before we get to sort of a little bit of a bigger picture discussion. I know we're a little long here. No, you know what? Let's go. This is the last one. Dawson Nielsen says, Shaugger, did you get to vote on the all-quarter century team and left off Jason Strudwick? Did you see Jason and click the wrong Jason? I just wondered if you guys had any comments. Did you see that quarter century team, and what was your biggest issue with it, let's say?
I don't have it right in front of me. I did vote. Trying to remember who I voted for. My memory is terrible for this stuff. Right. Do you have it, Zuby?
I do have it. I don't have a visual, but I'll give it to you really quick. So,
okay.
First team was McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent, Hopkins. Defense was Bouchard and Nurse. And in goal was Dwayne Rollison. Second team was Hemsky, Horkoff, Smith. It seems very separated by eras, doesn't it? On D, Ekholm and Jason Smith. And in goal, Tommy Salo.
Yeah, a bit of an egregious omission with Struds for sure. Although there wasn't a mascot category. I would say, sorry, I don't even know what that meant. I just said it. I wondered, I'm trying to recall what the criteria was too, because one of the great all-time impact seasons that a player has come in and had on the Oilers, just in terms of impact, start of the season to the last game of the season, was Chris Pronger. So I'm trying to recall exactly what the criteria we were given there. What did you think of it, Struds?
I don't know. I mean, I think some were totally obvious, right? Like, I think Horkoff, I love, he's a long-time Oiler. Hemsky, long-time Oiler. And then the guys in that first group. So you can, I don't know. I mean, these lists is subjective, right? This is what we believe. We think this and that. Could have been a couple of people in there. Yeah, I suppose. But all the people nominated there, I thought, or named there, I thought, or had deserved a spot. Now there's a lot of people thinking Doug Waite. Yeah, Doug Waite was a really good Oiler as well. You know, and had long tenure here too, especially during some lean years as far as budget wise goes. You know, Bill Guerin's on the guy was here quite a bit. So I don't know. I guess I'd be fine leaving it. I really don't get too worked up about one way or another.
Yeah. All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. And as always, thank you for all of your contributions and your thoughts on the stream and for joining us tonight. All right, let's wrap it up with our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. They offer a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team providing personalized care with the latest technology, making sure you get the best treatment possible. Contact GalleryDentalYEG.com. Struds, what are we going with?
Yeah, you know, Brownie referenced this in his Brownie points, but I got to go back to it. Marc-Andre Fleury, it just seems so great that he was able to get a shutout in Montreal, and the fans greet him so warmly. The other team, the Canadians, shook his hand after, and just honoring someone who's been such a good role model for NHLers for so long, to me is really important, you know, because I think that sets the stage for the next group. You watch how you interact when you're a superstar like Marc-Andre Fleury was. So I really like that moment and his recognition, but again, setting the table for the next group. And if there's one city that gets it, it's Montreal. They love their legends.
100%. Well said. Zuby, you being the goaltending guy, what do you got on Fleury?
I love him. I'm going to miss him from the game so much. I love his athleticism, his character. I mean, all the stuff, especially you can see this year, he's in full, you know, don't give an F. He's on his way out. He's pranking Crosby, you know, the pranks and the, and him going on the ice, shoveling the ice with the fake mustache on and stuff. Like, I do feel like the game is short of great characters, and he's one of them for sure. It's him. So I hope he stays involved in the game in some way after the fact, because I'll miss that aspect of him being around too. But as a goaltender, man, second to none. So athletic, flashy, big saves, pad stacks. Yeah, he was amazing. Oh, you muted yourself while I was going on.
Sorry about that, buddy. And just so classy, so throwback classy in the way he conducted himself, and always wonderful to deal with in the media. So yeah, it was a very cool scene, and good on the Habs for lining up and paying him the proper respects. Good job tonight, boys. Thank you kindly. We will chat after the Leafs game on the weekend. Looking forward to it. Should be a doozy and a great pod that night too, boys.
Yeah, can't wait. Big rivalry.
What time are we going? Pal? We can talk about it off air, but are we going right after the game or afternoon game?
Well, it's 5 o'clock game, so we'll just go after the game. Normal post game plan.
Yeah, all right, 4 here. Yeah. That's why in my mind it was.
Okay. You want to live stream all of our weekly meetings, or?
Yeah. I thought the fans might want to know.
No, yeah, we'll get up right after the game. And to the fans, to the people listening, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Much appreciate your downloads and your support, your views, and being along for the ride here on Got Your Back. We'll chat in a couple of days. Big thanks to Play Alberta, our title sponsor. See you soon.